Governor Jen Brewer is coming out right now. Her decision, very closely scrutinized. We're going to know it right now.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for being here today to join me as we take another step forward in protecting the state of Arizona. The bill I'm about to sign into law, Senate Bill 1070, represents another tool for our state to use as we work to solve a crisis that we did not create and the federal government has refused to fix. The crisis caused by illegal immigration in Arizona's porous border. This bill, the Support Law Enforcement and Safe Neighborhoods Act, strengthens the laws of our state. It protects all of us, every Arizona citizen, and everyone here in our state lawfully. And it does so while ensuring that the constitutional rights of all in Arizona remain solid, stable, and steadfast. I will now sign Senate Bill 1070.
All right, as kind of expected, although it was looking close today when the President of the United States came out and attacked this measure, it looks like Governor Jan Brewer is going to go ahead and indicate, sign into law what was easily passed in both houses of the Arizona state government, a measure to crack down on illegal immigration. The governor saying that she really had no choice in this matter, that the feds kind of dropped the ball, as Governor Mike Huckabee indicated here. We're actually now from Sheriff Paul Babiou. He's the president of the Arizona Sheriff's Association and is among those supporting the governor's actions today. Sheriff, good to have you. What do you make of this?
Thank you, Neil. Well, it's welcomed. I can tell you crime is out of control here in Arizona, and we in local law enforcement, the sheriffs, we need this as an additional tool. We often hear of people talking about, and even Governor Huckabee mentioning if he was Hispanic and he got pulled over for such a thing, he'd be upset. That's not how we roll in law enforcement.
Well, how will you do it then, Sheriff, in order to ward off these critics that you know are going to come and those who inevitably will file suits?
Absolutely.
How do you deal with that, sir? How are you going to implement this law?
Well, we use reasonable suspicion and building up to probable cause, that if you're speeding or if we run your license plate and it's MI, mandatory insurance suspended, we pull you over, and I would ask for, as I always do every citizen, Neil, do you have your driver's license, your registration, proof of insurance? And if you happen to give me Mexican national identification, well, that's a clue in law enforcement. So
yeah,
then
well, that would be, you're right about that's a tip-off. But what I'm asking is this argument that a number of immigration groups have raised here, that
right.
If you see a group of Hispanic men gathering in an area,
right.
that would be cause enough. What do you say?
Well, Fourth Amendment rights are still in force. This is America, and you have to remember, we're the guys who are enforcing the law. In the absence of federal action, that this is, it's off the chart, that we would still have to get into asking those questions and building up to that point. If we ask the same questions as cops 2 or 3 times, and the reason why we do that, to see if you're going to answer the same way. And if you don't, there's our suspicion. And we ask for an identification. And at that point now, a lot of cities like Chandler or Mesa, they restrict their local officers from asking these questions.
So Sheriff, could I ask you that? I'm sorry to jump by over crunch your time here, but is there any situation where you could envision some of your guys might be getting a little gun shy, no pun intended there, and say, well, you know, I don't want anyone dragging me to court or my department to court. I'm really going to just go easy on this. So this crackdown might actually go the other way.
Not at all. And this is where 17% of these illegals have criminal records already in our state. That's why we have the highest crime rates in America. That what this is going to do is now I only have 15 of my deputies who are certified in 287G, as cross-certified as federal agents, and now I'm going to have 220 of my deputies now able to do some of this work, and they build up to that reasonable suspicion, and then we get on the phone and call ICE or the Border Patrol to come in and assist us, and that's how we're going to solve this.
Okay, back to Governor. All right, sure, hang in there. We're going to go back to Governor Brewer now. She's taking some questions on the very one we raised with you.
Officers from and I quote, solely considering race, color, or national origin in implementing the requirements of this section, end of quote. The bill already requires that it, and I quote again, shall be implemented in a manner consistent with federal laws regulating immigration, protecting the civil rights of all persons, and respecting the privileges and immunities of the United States citizens, end of quote. While the general protection was already included, I believe the issue is so important we needed to make it crystal clear, and I believe that we need to more than simply inscribe it in the statute. Words in a law book are of no use if our police officers are not properly trained on the provisions of Senate Bill 1070, including its civil rights provisions. Today,
all right, we're watching Governor Jan Brewer. In case those who just tuned in here, she has gone ahead and signed off on a law that was passed by overwhelming margins in both branches of her state government that would crack down on illegal immigrations and allow authorities to pull aside anyone in question. Now, that has begun to raise concerns about whether racial profiling will be the sort of law of the Arizona land. We've heard from the governor, we've heard from a top sheriff who says no, that will not be the case, but you can see that the battle has now just been joined.